Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. I am pleased to have Pete Philo, who is the Director of International Scouting for the Indiana Pacers, as well as President of TPG Sports Group. And I thought we could start, Pete, by asking you a question, which was, tell us about TPG and how you came up with the idea for it.
Sure. TPG Sports Group is an events company, and we started this company several years ago, kind of segued out of the Euro camp that I was running in Treviso, Italy, which is essentially the NBA pre-draft camp. And wanted to start an events company here in Charlotte, and we help connect people, and we help educate people on the industry and different things that we're doing. It's an events company. We have three events currently. One is the Masters and Coaching Clinic. One is the Sports Career Conference, and one is our new one that we're really excited about, which is Pro Scout School in Vegas during the NBA Summer League.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of great NBA executives who are going to be at the events. So, what would you expect from the events going on in Vegas in July?
Well, this event is it's new. It's one of a kind. It's never been done before. I got the idea. Funny enough, Major League Baseball has a scout school, the only official scout school that you have to attend to become a scout. I thought it was really neat. We don't have anything like it, but it's the most common question I get when I'm traveling. How do you become a scout, and how do you get in? And what are the things you look for, and all the different questions. And I love sharing, and I love the camaraderie with our colleagues. And I thought it was just a neat event to start. And it's gotten a lot of traction and a lot of interest thus far, and we're really excited about it.
It sounds cool because it seems like what you're going to be able to do is actually do scouting reports on players that you see at Summer League. And how is that going to benefit the people that are going there once they fill out their scouting reports?
Sure. Well, one thing for sure is you're going to learn. We all think we know how to scout, right? I played basketball professionally for several years, and my first year of scouting, I had no clue what I was doing, and I had to learn. There's certain strategies and techniques and formulas, and there's a complete long checklist of things that you need to cover to figure out what translates to the NBA, because not everything translates. And so for people to do two types of reports. One, we're going to have an advanced scouting report where the coaching type can figure out how to do the NBA advanced work, as well as a personnel scouting report where both will be evaluated by NBA executives after they turn in the reports.
If I wanted to break into the NBA as a scout, let's just say, and I wanted to follow in your footsteps exactly, what was that path like?
That's a good question. My path, everybody's path is a little different. My path was I was given good information as a basketball player. A friend of mine said, you're not going to play forever. You're not making much money as a player. You're an average player overseas. You need to work after, and if you want to stay in the game, you need to develop relationships. And everyone says it, but it's really trusting relationships. It's not just who you know, but who knows you and who knows you favorably and who can trust you. And if you're going to bring value to the table, what are you going to bring? My footsteps, I worked out every summer down in Dallas while I was still playing professionally overseas. My summer times were in Dallas. I knocked on Donnie Nelson's door every single day after the workouts and asked him for 5 minutes. And he gave me 5 minutes, which turned into 10 or 15, maybe 12 per day. And we developed a little bit of a relationship and a bond. And then he trusted me on some scouting opportunities, and that's how I got in.
Okay, wow. Just real quickly, where did you play college basketball?
I played at Manhattan College my freshman year for Fran Fraschilla, who you know of ESPN, and who's our event MC, by the way, at the Scout School. And then I transferred to South Alabama, and I played for Bill Musselman. Both fantastic coaches, and I was able to learn a lot just from those two.
Wow, that's some heady company to be in. Are there any other NBA executives that have mentored you through this whole process?
Yes, in fact, I'm glad you asked that question because that's very important to me and my growth through the industry. Donnie Nelson started me out, and I'm grateful to him for that and for the rest of my career or life. He was so generous and trusted me, and then still advises me to today. When I have a tough question, I may ask him his advice. And then I went to Minnesota, and I was lucky to have Kevin McHale bring me on and let me run the international department in Minnesota. And from there, David Kahn came in, and he didn't have to keep me. but he did and gave me an opportunity, and we built a good relationship as well. And now, how better could it be to have Larry Bird and Kevin Pritchard as my president and general manager? I have the best in the business right now that I report to, and I'm really lucky.
Wow. Well, speaking of Minnesota, you were involved in recruiting or in scouting Ricky Rubio and Alexei Shved and Nikola Pekovic. How did those guys stand out to the point where you identified those are the guys that you need to get?
Well, that's a great question. Some things, some leagues over there automatically translate. Some skill sets automatically translate. And, I can't comment too much on other teams' players because I'm no longer with Minnesota, but I will say that again, I've been lucky to know the international market backwards and forwards, and relationships are very big because you get information in Europe. You can't just go over and scout and expect to go to Belgium and see a player like or dislike and expect to know if it translates. You got to know the level of the league. Every league is different, and you have to be able to get information on players. And contract status is very important because these players aren't college players. These players are professional, and they have contracts. And do they have out clause? Do they have a buyout? Do they have? Can they get out? Can they come over if they're drafted? And some teams will not talk to NBA personnel about that. So I've been lucky with the information I've been able to collect. It's just been able to, navigate through the industry a little bit better.
And I also understand you ran the Euro Camp for 9 years. Can you just describe exactly what that is, and if you have, is there a favorite memory you might have from that time?
The Euro Camp was something very dear to my heart, and still is, even though I don't run it any longer. Started the idea with some great people: Diane Nelson, Maurizio Giardini, Kiki Van de Wey, and we came up, and Reebok. Reebok was the owner and operator initially, and they funded the entire thing. And it was basically invite only for the top players in the world outside of America. It was a platform to give the international players like a pre-draft setting. We tried to duplicate everything that Chicago pre-draft was doing. We did it on the international side and gave those kids an opportunity to be seen by NBA executives. Now the trick was, you had to have the talent there for the NBA people to fly over at the pre-draft time and watch them. However, you also had to have the NBA people there in order to get the good players there. So there was a lot of lengthy discussions and meetings to get players there. But we had some real success. And again, the agents had to trust some of our work as well, and it worked out great for us.
And I can imagine there's a bit of the mental analysis as well of their makeup and their composure and how they behave in certain situations. I have to imagine that's also extremely important for you guys.
No question, no question. We watch every move they make, and sometimes these players don't understand that. Sometimes they do, and sometimes you sift through both sides. Maybe it's a little fake to it, and sometimes maybe guys are just being themselves and hurting themselves or helping themselves. Sometimes, you can, as adults, we can judge character pretty quickly, and you hope after the interview, as well as watching them and face to face for a couple days, you get a better feel for who you're dealing with.
Well, Pete, thanks for coming on the show and talking a little bit more about the Pro Scout School. It's happening in Vegas in July on the 14th and the 15th. It sounds really great. I know I'm going to stop by as well and check things out, and looking forward to even more stuff with you.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Coach Nick, and anytime you want to have me back, and I'd love to see you in Vegas.
You got it.
Okay.
And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? You in, Pete?
I'm in.